At last the work of generations is complete. The great error is corrected. The day of victory is at hand. The day of revenge. The day of the Sith.
They fly now!
Holy shit!
What just happened?
This Japanese rice is so fucking good.
God damn it, Gene. Fuck off.
Dude, seriously, it's so fucking good. God damn.
Welcome, you fucking sluts, to the year 2020.
Fuck yeah! Woo!
So, I hope all of you are having a happy new year and a Merry Christmas. Let's get right to this fucking shit.
Merry Chrysler!
Anyway, we got Gene.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Who?
Oh.
Wow!
As I was saying, we got Gene, the Sagittarius brother, the infamous Gene, Mr. Starkiller Cosmic himself, back at it again.
With the white bands.
It's been a long time coming. I don't have any white bands.
He's back, and he's ready for action. And on my right, we have Eric, also known as Panda, also known as Eric YOLO. Eric.
Hey!
And today is an interesting day because we are going to talk about Star Wars again. I know. Who could ever get tired of Star Wars at this point? But we're not just talking about the elephants in the room. We have 3 elephants, believe it or not. We got the newly anticipated film, The Rise of Skywalker, the sequel to the divisive Last Jedi. We got The Mandalorian, which is basically Baby Yoda the show.
Hell yeah!
And we got a potential.
He's so fucking cute.
That bastard.
And then we have potentially a game of the year, I'd say.
Candidate.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Woo!
So we have a lot to talk about. Maybe this will be the longest Sludcast ever created. Who knows? But you know, a man can dream. We're gonna.
Go record.
So
The record.
we're gonna go in that order. We're gonna start with The Rise of Skywalker. But first things first, we're going to talk about our thoughts about the film, and then we'll get into certain things about the film that was interesting. I'm gonna go first, but if any of you follow my letterbox, I already made a long-ass review of The Rise of Skywalker, and everybody in this room read it. Am I right, boys?
No.
Sure.
Anyway, for those who doesn't follow me on Letterboxd, my quick thoughts on this film: it is the biggest mixed bag I've ever seen in a long time, and frankly, there have been many aspects in this film that I will say is very disappointing. I did not.
On Letterboxd, don't do it.
I did not come out of this film very satisfied.
Disappointed.
I did not come out of this film very satisfied, and I feel like this was the first time this actually happened with these Disney movies, believe it or not. But enough about me. What about you two? What did you guys think of this film?
Gene, you want
I'll
to take
say
it?
it. I'll say it. I don't give a shit who hates me. Fuck all of you. But I liked it.
Damn.
Wow.
I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. There were some parts of the film that really pissed me off. Tisk tisk. Chewbacca.
Thank you.
Okay, so
I really liked it.
okay, we'll get into that a little bit more. Eric, what about you? What did you think?
I'm the same as Gene. Like I liked it, so fuck you all people.
Okay. Well,
I didn't think it was that terrible as any movie out there, including you, Martin Scorsese. Fuck you, man. everything. It has flaws, but there was a lot of good things in it.
That's true. Like, I'll be lying if I said that I didn't come out of this film somewhat enjoying it, but I feel like my biggest problem with this film is just really, like, the pacing of this film. How you don't really seem to catch a lot of breath in this film, and it's like, a lot of these things happen by pure coincidences, and it happens way too frequently for me to be actually okay with this. It's like, it's basically a MacGuffin fetch quest. It's basically a video game.
MacGuffin.
And we have a list of things that we're going to talk about. And, like, we're going to be going through them one at a time. I feel like episode 9 is going to take, like, the vast majority of this podcast. So, let's just get right into it. The first thing that we can talk about is that this film is basically a course correction of The Last Jedi. So there were things that I guess were changed, like, mid-process. Let's get into the very obvious one. Snoke. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, you were pretty handling it there, so I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay. Well, Snoke is a fucking clone. There was a little jar thing with Snoke inside of it, which was a pure retcon and a justification of killing him off in the last film. Okay, so for those of you who wanted an answer on Snoke, there's your answer. How did you feel about the fact that Palpatine was basically pulling the strings and Snoke was the puppet?
Disappointing.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I don't really mind Snoke being a clone because at the same time, I feel like since Force Awakens, I really thought that the big villain was supposed to be Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Ever since. So, to me, why have Snoke if the big villain's gonna be, Kylo Ren? Obviously, in The Last Jedi, we all thought that it was Snoke the big bad, but in reality, it was Kylo Ren. So,
It turns out it's not.
In all honesty, I don't really mind Snoke being a clone. In fact, it would make sense because of all the other comics that were in Star Wars. They were talking about the Emperor making clones of himself, or the Emperor having clones to, be his first order and take care of business. So I don't really mind Snoke being a clone.
I'm with you. Like, it didn't bother me that much, but it's like, at the same time, it's like because they built this character up big time in The Force Awakens, and I guess it's one of those cases where the gotcha moments of The Last Jedi came around. I guess for, like, the answer that they gave us, it was fine, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Like, it turns, like, if Palpatine was, like, alive and pulling the strings, I don't understand why he had to be in hiding all this time if he needed someone like Snoke, because back then Snoke displayed so much power that almost seemed on par with Palpatine that you might as well just use Palpatine.
You're not wrong.
Like, they're just things that just doesn't make sense as a thing. And even though I can, like, accept this as a reason, I just don't think it really justifies a lot of the decisions that, because of how things were set up prior. Like, I don't know. It really doesn't, like, I'm not buying it. The other thing that they've retconned is Luke. So back then, Luke secluded himself to this island back in The Last Jedi, specifically so he can disappear and die. And what's it called? Like, he basically moved himself away from the Force. In this film, it seems like Luke went away so he can specifically find Exegol, the same planet where Palpatine is at. You find this out when you meet Lando, and then they talk about how they've been searching for Ochi and this dagger that's supposed to lead to a Sith Wayfinder, which is what leads them to Palpatine. By the way, this is basically the entire film. So now they retcon. They retcon the fact that because, like, Luke had the Jedi texts, the sacred texts, and Rey took them at the end of The Last Jedi, you find out that, you know, he was reading information regarding the Sith home planets, the Wayfinder, and everything, which is basically like the main point of this film. Since it's actually just saying that Luke never really actually abandoned the good nature that he was in from the last film. I don't know. What do you guys think about that one?
What?
The Luke Skywalker Last Jedi retcon.
Oh shit, I was kind of spaced out.
God damn it, Gene.
I was gonna let Eric handle this one.
Okay. So, Eric, what did you think then?
I guess there was like a lot of retcons that kind of like annoyed me, and like that was kind of one of them.
Okay.
Basically telling me like, oh yeah, it's like, yeah, I did seclude myself, but before that, oh yeah, I went hunting for a wayfinder.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things about Lando that we'll get to a little later, but Gene, what about you?
The retcon for Luke.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was what we all wanted Luke to be. You know, everybody complaining about Luke in The Last Jedi. I feel like it satisfied me that finally Luke is back. You know, that he completed his arc in a way. So,
Yeah, but like the problem is that like you don't think like the entire thing of him secluding himself in the last film just seems like completely ignored, like for it to be justified, like he was looking for the Sith home planet and that's why he disconnected himself from the Force. But just like did it really like added all that to?
I mean, I don't think it was ignored. I feel like it.
No, it was straight up ignored.
Oh, it was.
I mean, I really didn't. In fact, while watching this movie, I didn't really pay attention to The Last Jedi, to be honest. So I don't really remember them, like, throwing that part of Luke under the bus, but I don't really care. I just was satisfied with seeing Luke. Like, while you turn your brain off while watching this movie, it kind of makes it better, you know?
That's literally every Star Wars film, even the prequels.
No, not Phantom Menace. To this day, I can't even understand the plot of that movie.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, like, that's like something that's obviously really, but that even applies to The Last Jedi, you know? A film that I know you totally love to death.
Sure.
Yeah, I love it.
Alright.
So much.
Oh yeah, it was such a great film. Oscar nomination.
The problem is that, like, my issue with this film...
Johnson is such a great director.
Hey, that Knives Out, though.
Actually, Looper, bro. Looper.
Shit, what about Breaking Bad, dude?
And Brick.
Brick. Oh god, Brick was so good.
The fuck is Brick?
Dude!
A movie directed by Ryan Johnson, okay?
Bro, that's Netflix when you have Disney Plus.
But anyway,
You can't find Brick on Disney Plus, bro.
Dude, I was watching The Witcher on Netflix. Who the fuck is gonna watch Brick, bitch?
Yeah, but I watched it before The Witcher, so.
I was watching Mandalorian. I was too busy watching Mandalorian.
oh my fucking god!
You're not wrong, The Mandalorian's fucking great.
Anyway, but I don't know. Like, did you think that like the entire like there are probably more examples of The Last Jedi retcons, but there's just some that we'll be moving forward to, especially involving Rey. So I guess like the justification is that The Last Jedi retcons were fine then, at least in Gene's case.
Yeah. In my opinion, they're fine.
Hard disagree, man. And the reason why is that, like, I feel like even if you didn't like The Last Jedi, even though I don't think much is really bad about that film, the thing is, like, even if it is like a shit film with a shit story, it's like if you can still take aspects of what the film had already left behind and using it to make something better, I think that would do really well. Like, even the MCU, even though like not any of the MCU films are terrible per se, I mean there are a couple of candidates, but the problem, like the thing is, like they still played a decent role leading up to Endgame, and it's like if they could do that, I'm pretty sure like you can still have the goal to still be a little bit consistent with the story, even if many people didn't like the last one. Like,
Yeah.
if they had a more consistent narrative, like I think the sequel trilogy as a whole could have been pretty well, but I just think they shouldn't be focusing on course correcting the last films and then just to make one decent film instead of making like a good trilogy as a whole. But we'll get more on Last Jedi retcons when we move forward. But the next thing that we want to talk about are the gotcha moments. And I'll let Gene take over this one.
Gene and I am so pissed off of this.
Alright, so
The Chewbacca.
the first gotcha I want to talk about is, here's the Empire, the Final Order. Oh, yeah, here's the Final Order about to capture Chewbacca. Oh, Rey kills him, but gotcha! He's alive.
He was coincidentally on another ship. Sure.
Wow, Finn is like the biggest dumbass then if he didn't see the other ship. And it's funny because when I saw the film a second time, the first time I saw it, I didn't think there was another ship. But then the second time I see it, oh wow, there is another ship. And then Finn just...
Hold on, I have more.
Oh yeah, there are more gotcha moments.
I have more. Oh, here's a giant snake under the fucking ground. He's bleeding. Oh my god, he's about to die. Oh, they're gonna kill him, they're gonna shoot him, but gotcha! Rey can force heal him.
Force heal! Fucking force heal!
Oh, hold on. I got more. Oh, wait. No. Just one more. One more in this finale. It's the finale. This one actually did piss me off in the movie. So, okay, Rey's fighting Palpatine.
Yes.
And Palpatine kills her.
Yes.
But gotcha!
She still gets up!
No, she lives because gotcha! Kylo Ren is about to save her, but gotcha! Because he saved her, he dies!
Like, Kylo's death in this film was at least better than I would have initially have done it, because you know the scene when Palpatine tosses Kylo off the cliff?
You know what I would have wished?
That was supposed to be his original death in this film before it got reshot.
You know what I would have wished for this movie?
What?
I would have wished that Kylo Ren, saved her, force healed her. Then Rey realized that she was supposed to die, and then she force heals him, and he revives himself. And then he's like, shit. Well, I guess I gotta live then.
You're missing one more. By the way, Gene, you missed one more.
What?
C-3PO.
Oh, yeah. Those fuckers made me cry while watching the trailer. Okay. Alright, C-3PO's about to die because, his fucking memory's gonna be wiped.
He's like,
but gotcha! R2-D2 has a USB port and stores all of C-3PO's memory.
I just love the fact that...
That's another... that could be a kind of retcon because C-3PO said it. Doesn't R2 have, can't, have, backup storage of your memory bank? And it's I didn't trust that fool!
That's not even a retcon. That's just more there's a solution, but fuck it, I don't want to think about that as a solution. And it's a solution.
Bad writing, bro.
Actually, you know what it is, Eric? It's like a literal terrible foreshadowing.
Wow.
So...
Yeah. I studied English, and that's so fucking stupid.
Okay, so...
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, that's the best example. That's the worst version of foreshadowing, in my opinion.
The worst example you can give me of foreshadowing.
Yeah, but there's a lot of gotcha moments. Oh, actually, well, my personal favorite one is the fact that it's each... How about the fact that every Star Destroyer has a fucking Death Star weapon, and it's it only destroys one planet, and then you can basically forget the fact that they even had it in the first place.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just... bleh. Anyway. Now we gotta move on.
And, to me it was pretty funny how, no, I'll leave it till the end.
Okay.
No. I found it funny.
No.
What?
I found funny that, like, no, this has nothing to do with the gotcha moment, but this has something to do with Palpatine.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that.
I found it funny how Palpatine just Kamehameha'd the whole fucking sky.
Oh my god. Oh, that is a gotcha moment! That is a gotcha moment!
Came to mind me with during that scene.
He Kamehameha'd the sky, and everybody was just falling down like, holy shit!
But when you really think about it, that is a gotcha moment. Everybody's falling and about to die, but gotcha, it just magically turns back on.
That's true. No, but again,
No one dies on that scene.
no one dies. But like the only thing that kind of like made me laugh so hard during.
Yeah, somebody dies.
What, the fat guy with the beard?
Hey,
Hey, he was a good character.
he was a good character, bro.
Okay. Anyway, now the next topic, the plot holes. See if you guys can remember some, because I'm gonna go to my review for a second and list the ones that I listed.
Alright. One to me is like all the way back since Revenge of the Sith. So, Padme was pregnant,
Yes.
and Anakin wanted to save Padme.
Yes.
And the Jedi have the power to force heal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You just said the whole thing.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a picture I saw. It was episode 3, and Mace Windu was about to kill Palpatine.
Oh my god, I know which one you're talking about.
Anakin shows up, and he's like, "Don't kill him!" He's like, "Bitch, we can force heal! Kill this motherfucker!"
But it's like, if you could force heal Padme since the beginning, then why even try to join the dark side? Because like you know you have that. It's like you have that power, but what the hell?
Okay, so unless you want to add a little bit more as we go on, these are the ones that I listed. So Palpatine has a son, and yes, everybody's already asked this before, and I'm gonna ask it now. So who fucked Palpatine?
I think it was the bitch from Revenge of the Sith.
Kronika, you mean?
Yeah, the bitch that he had like on his left. He had a blue-haired bitch, and then
She basically looks like Kronika.
the blue-skinned guy.
Oh, you want to look at that guy? I was looking at the one that looked like Kronika.
Yeah, he had that guy, and like to have all his gay fantasies with, and he had the bald bitch.
So,
Bald whore. He just fucked.
So the biggest plot hole is the fact that he has a son, and we don't know anything about Rey's father. Personally, if it were up to me, if you were going to give an offspring to Palpatine, I would have actually kept him alive and killed the mother or whatever. And have a scene when Rey actually meets him for the first time and like then explained a little bit more to it. But as of right now, we literally don't know anything. In fact, Palpatine's son is so useless to him that he has him killed the moment they couldn't find Rey. And Rey's the one that is force sensitive.
So he's his son wasn't force sensitive.
We don't know.
We don't know, but from the looks of it, no.
But then and then Rey's force sensitive and she's like super fucking powerful. How did she get like all of his power? I don't know. How come he doesn't get the power? I don't know. Like, if Rey was a virgin birth like Anakin was, then I guess I would be okay with it, but it's not. And quite frankly, the fact that it's already been established that Palpatine may have created Anakin, and then you want to go with this whole Reylos?
No. They already talked about that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not his father.
Okay.
Emperor is not Anakin's father. So they already put that in like an article on Lucasfilm. So yeah.
When was this?
because people were commenting on like a YouTube video or something on a post saying that, oh my god, Kylo and Rey kissed, but if Anakin is Palpatine's son,
Then incest.
So
Yeah.
so that's a retcon then.
what?
They literally deconfirmed that Palpatine was Anakin's father, but for a while now that was actually an established thing.
Well, I don't know if it's technically a retcon because the guy said that it was on the perspective of the dark side, and the dark side's not the best storyteller. I don't fucking know, man.
I'm gonna go with it's a retcon.
Yeah, go with it. It's a retcon.
The other one is okay. So when and how did Leia and Luke figure out that Rey was related to Palpatine?
That's true. Where did that?
Because Luke found out that Leia is is related to Palpatine because Leia found out first. So it's like, when did she tell him is one thing. How did she find out is another.
The Force?
Shut up, Han. We don't know.
Yeah, we have no fucking idea.
Okay.
The Force? I mean, the Force is already the plot arbor tool.
No, it isn't. Fuck off.
It is.
Why did Lando stay in Pisana? The new sand planet.
How the fuck did he stay in Pisana?
Why did he stay in Pisana? Because, like, the closest, I guess, the best explanation that he has is the fact that he's still looking for Ochi, but he just straight up. First of all, our main character's from.
What I miss?
Ochi was dead in the movie.
Ochi was.
Would he still be there?
Who died?
No, nobody died. It's Lando.
Like, I know Leia died. That was another thing.
Yeah, but Ochi, the took Rey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was dead, and Lando stayed on the planet for some reason. For like 30 years, he was there.
Yeah, pretty much. But I don't think they found out. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, they found the ship, but they couldn't find Ochi, and the main characters just coincidentally land on the exact quicksand that Ochi was in.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of conveniences. And also, I don't know if you remember the ending, but Lando and this new character, Jana,
Yep.
they end the scene together, and they're like, well, where are you from, Missy? I don't know. Well, why don't we find out together?
That's his daughter.
That's the thing. That was never in the movie. That was in the leaks. In the leaks, they said that she was supposed to be his daughter, but that was funny thing. The leaks actually said that oh yeah, Lando stayed because the First Order took her daughter, and then he just basically decided to, I guess, in the closest way to exile himself, the same way Luke did. But that never made it in the movie.
What the fuck?
Wow.
So many things that they should have left.
So, and the worst part is, they could have literally put that in the film, and that wouldn't be a plot hole.
Exactly.
And then, I talked so much about Lando and Jana, oh yeah, and then the elephant in the room. How is Palpatine still alive?
Exactly. Well, he was hooked up to a machine. But
The thing is, they did say that he actually died in Return of the Jedi, that he actually died, but then they start talking about cloning, but then how is his consciousness transfers to a certain clone? How does he still have the memories of Return of the Jedi if he's technically not the same Palpatine?
He probably force healed himself.
He blew up.
he basically disintegrated. How?
And then if he was still, and then if after him blowing up from the reactor shaft, if his head was still conscious despite being disassembled.
You know what I think? You know that he had a group of acolytes, right, in the movie?
Which also didn't get explained either.
I also think that it's that his acolytes like gathered his like remains of his body, gathered his remains, and then did a ritual with the Force or something.
Okay, but then here's the thing. Okay, but here's the thing. How did they do that when the second Death Star also blew up?
I don't know. Ask JJ.
I would just say I feel this is a complete movie where JJ, instead of actually saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan, I know what I gotta do," he was like, "I'm gonna go to Reddit and I'm gonna just pluck a bunch of."
Yeah, he basically gives us the worst the worst plot twist ever.
That's true. That's true. He took out everything from Reddit.
Took everything from Reddit. He's like, yes, not maybe, yes.
And then what else? And then there's one more thing. How did the second Wayfinder? First of all, the Death Star. The funny thing is that the second Death Star literally blew up. But then in this film, it looks like it just got slashed in half. How did the second Wayfinder made its way into Death Star? Was it always there? Was Exegol always been a thing? Was like,
Find it on Reddit.
Fuck off.
Gotta get on Reddit, bro.
Those are all the plot holes I came across with. There's only one more that I didn't talk about, and that's the shit that Finn wanted to tell Rey. But we'll get to that. But that's like an entirely different segment, so we'll get to that when we get to it.
But first, let's talk about Palpatine's message, and I feel like Marcos knows that this shit was on Fortnite.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to bring in.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eric, so you know how
message, people played Fortnite. You had to play Fortnite to listen to Palpatine's message. On the new season where there's all the Star Wars skins, you have to play Fortnite and Palpatine's message will appear.
So I'd have to suffer, play that trash ass game. Yeah, fuck you all, Fortnite players. That game fucking sucks. Just to listen to his message? Oh, suck a dick.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The funny thing is, like, the opening crawl, which is probably one of the worst opening crawls in all these Star Wars films. They did talk about how Palpatine, had said, a message, and that's how everybody found out that he was alive. And you can't find this. The message is not in the film. It's only mentioned, and the spy gave it to the Resistance to the fact that, yes, Palpatine is in fact alive, which we'll get to the spy in a minute. But the only way to actually legitimately listen to the message is if you go out of your way to play Fortnite and then do some shit, and then you'll actually hear the message. I'll put, as of this video, I already have the clip of the Fortnite's message, of Palpatine's message on Fortnite, and it will be in this video in the beginning. So if you've already seen this film, you've already seen it. So whatever. That's my take. It's so retarded. Because I will be the first person to tell you that anything that has to rely on outside source material to make a film actually good is awful. This includes feeling obligated to watch the 2003 Clone Wars TV show just to understand how Revenge of the Sith started. It's stupid.
And the 2003 Clone Wars was not bad.
It's not bad. I'm just saying that it has to be the fact that the ending of that show is what's basically the opening of Revenge of the Sith. That should have been in the films.
Oh yeah, it should have been.
That's what I'm talking about. The fact that you had to you had to do something outside of the films.
You had to go out of your way.
Yeah, it's a big no-no.
More information. It's kind of stupid.
Let's move on because I don't really want to talk about Fortnite anymore.
Please.
All right. Point is Palpatine's message. Fuck you. Next. Okay.
You're really giving me a hernia about this crap.
Okay. So good thing. Speaking of the plot, but going back to the plot holes for a second, the one topic I kind of left in blank was what did Finn wanted to tell Rey, and here we are.
I already know that. I already know the answer to that.
Okay, so here's the thing. Hold up.
I love you.
If you okay, wait, hold up. I know, but if you watch the movie and you hear Finn going, "Rey, there's something I want to tell you."
No, you father.
There's no human being in the fucking planet is basically gonna tell you that I'm force sensitive. Like, that is retarded.
It is. Like you get like they're dying. I would have expected for him to say,
Gene, Gene, if you and I ever,
I've loved you ever since on Jack.
Gene, if you and I ever start falling in quicksand, the last thing I'm gonna tell you is that I could actually fly. Not that I appreciate you as my Sagittarius brother or that I love you. It's just like Gene, wait, before we die, I just wanted to tell you that I could actually fly and like levitate and shit. It's like no one does that.
I would die saying, "Oh my God, Marcos, you could have used that."
Fuck you, Marcos. You could have literally saved.
Fuck you.
Oh my God, it's stupid. JJ, learn how people work.
Exactly. Why don't you come with me and we'll take a psychology together? Maybe we'll learn how people work.
But now, speaking of Finn and Rey, and how we thought they were going to be a couple,
Yes.
let's talk about something that actually is a couple.
Okay.
Oh God. Let me prepare myself first. I need to go get a tie so I can hang myself.
Okay. Okay. Let's start from the beginning.
No. Let's start from the end. Because I want to finish talking about this.
So, it's weird to me that Reylo's a thing now. Because going back to The Force Awakens, when everything was like kind of set up that Rey was going to be a Skywalker, it pretty much made me think that Rey and Kylo were siblings, if not cousins, at most.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say this. I did get spoiled the fact that they were going to kiss. I was just scrolling through YouTube, and then I saw Rey and Kylo Ren kissing scene. And I'm like, there better be a justification for Rey to kiss the same guy who killed Han Solo. Like, and, okay, it did, but bleh.
Thank you.
It's like, come on.
I was completely confused.
It was a terrible kiss.
I was like, okay, Disney has to end it with a kiss. I get it.
I just
Right.
this reminds me of like with Legend of fucking Korra, when they decided to end that show with Korra and Asami getting together because the Korra-Asami shipping was the most popular shipping at the time. It's fucking stupid. And so they did the same thing with Rise of Skywalker. It's like Reylo, now that they weren't related because Rey's parents were nobodies, now we could the Reylo shipping blew up when The Last Jedi came out. And I didn't think that was actually going to happen in the movie, but here we are talking about Rey and Kylo Ren kissing. I want to go back in time in 2015. Yeah.
But goddamn all of you that we can't talk about Finno.
Oh right, Finn and Poe. So funny thing is, while we did get Reylo, we got nothing from Finn and Poe. And I will say this: one of the things I really wish we would have had much more focus on in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi is actually some more Finn and Poe, because not them as a couple, but a lot of people seem to want that. But I just really enjoyed their relationship.
Homophobe, Marcos.
I want there to.
A homophobe.
I just wanted to see more of them.
How dare you? Oh, no. How dare you? I wanted to see Finno, damn it.
You wanted to see Finno? You wanted to see them making out?
Fuck no, I'm kidding.
I was like, what the fuck, bro?
But yeah, but I still wish we did get more of them in the last two films, because it was completely robbed from us in The Force Awakens, and then The Last Jedi, well, Finn had to have a friend, Rose.
Fuck Rose.
Speaking of Rose.
Hold up. Okay, actually, we'll start with Rose, and then we'll get to the other one. Okay. So, Rose got a big drop and roll. Like, Rose was in the movie, but at the same time wasn't in the movie.
Awesome. Next.
Okay, so now it's Rey Palpatine. So one of the retcons is that Rey's parents were nobodies. That still applies. but not her grandfather. Okay, Rey being a Palpatine is not a bad idea, in my opinion. If it was
not her great uncle Stan.
Shut up, Gene. If honestly, I'm okay with Rey being a Palpatine if it had been set up since the beginning. And so now I just feel like this is literally. It's like you said. It's basically a fucking Reddit. Like it's basically a plot twist written by Reddits. It's
No, dude. J.J. Abrams saw the how it should end video from Star Wars Theory.
Yes.
That's true.
And he was like, I'm gonna take this and say I did it.
And then the next time people say that Force Awakens is a plagiarism, is like a plagiarist film, fuck you.
I bet Star Wars Theory liked it because he was like, holy shit, that's what I did!
Holy shit, that's my idea!
Like, no lie, I would have done the same thing.
Really? You wouldn't even try?
No.
Wow. Remind me to never hire you for a writer.
I mean, it was... No, dude, I mean, what Star Wars Theory did.
How it should have ended.
Yeah. And then J.J. Abrams stealing that from him.
Fuck JJ.
Honestly. And now, okay, so...
During Star Trek.
I mean, that's probably, like, basically why I liked it. Because Star Wars Theory, like, predicted was gonna happen.
It was leaked, man. Alright,
Funny.
Okay.
Holy shit, now that I think about it, yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you this.
No,
What
I
did you...
don't know who stole from who.
Okay, so...
Who knows?
Now I gotta ask, what did you guys think of the new characters? Zori Bliss, for instance, and Janna.
I mean, to be honest, I thought Poe was gay. So I don't know.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
I thought all this time that Poe was gay.
Honestly,
I was like, how is he gonna have a? Also, they're like exits. I thought he was gay.
so okay. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought that too.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was gay. I thought he was gay.
Somebody kept talking about the fact that
The way he was touching Finn in Force Awakens.
That is
Like
true.
he was like, yeah, I'll give you my jacket, honey.
what the fuck? That was.
And then they saw each other again in the replays.
Finn!
I missed you, man.
I missed you, man!
Jesus Christ! I guess guys can't be touchy.
What?
I guess guys can't be like showing their bromance side. Fuck, they're instantly gay.
I mean, I can't talk about that. I can't talk about that.
What? Like, you can have a bromance, but like, too much touchy.
Shut up.
Moving on. Okay, but what do you guys think about Zori Bliss?
I like Zori.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like Zori, and I really wish we had more of her. But
Exactly. Like,
I mean, she was fine. She really didn't do anything. You know who I really do care about? Fucking
Babu. I had a feeling you were gonna say Babu Freak.
Frick,
Babu
no.
Frick, baby! I'm Babu Frick. That's awesome.
And I initially liked Janna when I first saw the film, but then I saw it a second time, and then I just realized, man, Janna's literally a female Finn.
Yeah.
Right? She is.
And that's pretty much it for the new characters. I just find it weird that this film even introduced new characters in the first place, considering the fact
I
that...
say that Babu Frick is the shit.
Yep.
Oh yeah, what about Dio? Oh yeah, what did you guys think about Dio?
Who?
Dio, the new droid.
Neo?
Dio, the new droid.
The new
Oh, Dio.
D-O.
Oh, Dio?
Yeah.
Forgettable.
Why does he talk? I remembered when they showcased him, it seemed like he was not going to be talking. It seemed like he was just going to make some cute little beep noise, but then...
Yeah,
Next thing you know-
BB-8 and R2.
Yeah, next thing you know, J.J. Abrams is voicing him.
J.J.
That was
Abrams
JJ?
voiced it.
Apparently.
What?
D.O.
Wow.
voice actor. Rise of Skywalker.
You're searching it right now. You're seriously searching it right now.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I remembered, like, oh, that's how you spell it. Sorry, I put do voice actor.
Yeah, it's D-E-O.
No, it's D-O.
Are you serious? D-O? You're gonna be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, well, 0, but whatever. It's already, like,
Oh my god, who cares?
while it loads. But yeah, I did hear that apparently JJ actually did the voice for Dio.
D-O.
Whatever.
I am so disappointed in fucking JJ. Go back to doing Cloverfield, okay?
Oh god, no, he's already fucking that one up too.
That's
Go back to doing Star Trek.
Go back to doing Star Trek.
Yeah, I really don't
It's
care about.
already trash.
I really don't give a shit about Star Trek, to be honest.
Yeah, that last one was pretty trash.
Okay,
Doing Star Trek, it was already trash. Go do what was that other movie called?
Cloverfield?
No, the other one.
10 Cloverfield Lane?
No, the other one. The one he did with a kid, Stranger Things.
What?
That was not him!
No. The Stranger Things copy.
Oh, yeah. Super
Or
8.
what?
Super
Yeah,
8.
Super 8. Or what Stranger Things copied off of.
Yep.
Yeah. Go do Super 9 or some shit.
The sequel, Super 9.
Yeah, I already found it right here. J.J. Abrams voices Dio in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
JJ,
Now.
do the world a favor and jump off a bridge.
Okay. Now, speaking of Zori Bliss and everything, what about Poe and Zori Bliss? What did you think of them together?
Poe being a spice runner was just weird. The fact that they added that out of nowhere.
Yeah.
His relationship with Zori Bliss could have been great if it was like explored more often in the films, but the fact that it's in this film and only this film, it's like there's so much wasted potential in it. Frankly, I would have preferred having Zori Bliss over, say, Rose, for instance, in The Last Jedi, but the fact that she appears in this film, she doesn't get explored that often, and she seems like an interesting character. Couple that with Poe, I would have probably liked it a lot, but if it was 2 films ago or she was in The Last Jedi, I would have been more happy with it. But here it's just whatever.
I gotcha.
Yeah, what about you two?
It for Poe's backstory, it doesn't really talk about that much, but if you guys want a little bit more of Poe's backstory, there's some comics that Marvel made called Poe. So yeah.
Poe, a Star Wars story. Okay.
So
The vein
you
of
can
existence.
read those comics or enjoy your time and read some Vader comics.
So going back to
Small comics.
so
Fuck that.
So going back to Poe for a second, normally I disagree with Gene saying that off like canon, like off like anything outside of the films to be required to understand the characters is like a big no-no. But that's the thing, we don't know much about Poe in these films, even with the added Spice Runner thing. So yeah, like I really got nothing for you.
That's true.
And then
Just wait until they make a movie about it.
Yep.
shoot me. Okay, now
And that movie's gonna be called Poe,
a Star Wars story.
a Star Wars story.
Okay, now be honest with me, both of you. Be really honest with me. What did you guys actually think about Leia, the way she was used in the film?
If she was not in the film,
Okay. Sorry.
like, if she wasn't in the film, it would have been fine.
Okay, but with what we got now,
Like, she could have been, she was just used to push the plot and, like, unnecessarily.
I
Because
don't know.
if she was just taken out of the equation,
the thing
the
is,
plot still would have flowed.
is that like I'm okay with it because this is the best way they could use Leia in this film. And surprisingly, it works, but you can really tell when it's directly unused footage from The Force Awakens, especially. So it's like, it's awkward in that aspect, but at the same time, like, it could have been way worse.
I didn't mind it. What
Yeah, me neither.
I didn't mind was the big Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher CGI.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's literally Rogue One all over again.
Yeah.
But no, it was worse than Rogue One.
No,
Worse.
I mean to be fair, I'm kind of in the same level with both of them because I really can't stand Grand Moff Tarkin and Rogue One, but yeah, it's just as bad.
No, the Leia one here was worse. I thought I was seeing a PlayStation 2 looks better than that shit.
No, I guess the thing. When you're looking at like CG, specifically like human CG, that they enter into that uncanny valley, which they don't know how to like resemble facial features.
Yeah, like Tony Stark from dude.
Target.
Do you remember? How about trying to make a young Tony Stark in Captain America: Civil War? Like that shit was awful.
Yeah.
Compared to Tarkin and Leia.
Oh no, it's still awful. I'm not even comparing. It still looks like shit.
I mean, I would say that the only thing that looks better was Sam Jackson de-aging, but even then you can't really tell.
Yeah.
The only movie that I've seen where it's
Because like Sam Jackson for a 7-year-old guy looks young.
Did you just say for a 7-year-old guy?
70.
I heard 7.
I heard 7.
7. I meant 70-year-old guy looks young.
Dude, it's like, I love that Eric just figured, like, Eric and I heard the same thing.
Yeah, because I did say 7.
Okay. Anyway.
Like, I was saying, like, the only movie, like, I've seen where, like, they truly use really good CG was, the new release, Planet of the Apes movies. Those were truly well done CG characters.
But let's not talk about Planet. Let's talk about another ape, General Hux.
Okay, General Hux is the spy. Okay, can I say this? Was it obvious?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
The way the scene played out was like, the Kylo Ren decapitates some alien, and then he's like, "There is a spy aboard the thing," and then aboard our ship, and then he's like, "You seem tense, General Hux." What? You mean the mask? Oh, it's very fine. I like it. It's like, okay, are you? So Hux is a spy then?
They made it too obvious.
They made if they would have just said nothing regarding Hux. Then it wouldn't be obvious. But the fact that they put the pressure on Hux, it's like, that's another case of terrible foreshadowing.
I think it would have still been obvious.
The thing is that it just doesn't make sense on Hux's case. Okay, he hates Kylo Ren, but literally the First Order was his men.
Yeah.
They were literally, Hux is taking orders from Kylo Ren, okay, whereas everyone else is taking orders from Hux. Hux is the second in command, like, come on. So now he just betrayed his very own faction just because he hates Kylo Ren that much. It's like, okay. Whatever. And then Hux will go down in history as being the worst liar ever because they figured it out like so quickly and they killed him. Rest in peace, orange-haired space.
Then the old guy was like, "We found a spy."
Rest in peace, our orange-haired space Hitler. You will.
Gingers have souls.
Yeah, whatever.
Gingers have
Rest in pieces.
Okay. We're finally ending the ending. We're about to wrap up the Rise of Skywalker, and the biggest thing we're gonna talk about, the ending.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest.
You liked it.
I paid attention more to the yellow-bladed lightsaber.
Wait. Okay. Before we get to that part. What did you guys?
I paid more attention to the yellow-bladed lightsaber that she had. I was like, holy shit, I like Rey now.
Oh yeah, yes.
The one I like about that yellow lightsaber is actually because it's like built from the staff, and that's been something that Alec wanted from like after The Last Jedi, because they broke Anakin's lightsaber. Oh yeah, like talk about another thing that just got completely ignored. She fixed it off screen. It's like Anakin's lightsaber gets destroyed.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
That shit was broken!
it was.
How
It
the
was.
fuck was it in the movie?
She fixed it off screen. It was the Force.
Plot hole,
Yep.
plot hole, plot hole, plot hole.
The worst part is that wasn't even the worst plot hole. Like, you could literally get away with that one. She fixed it off screen. She had the Jedi text. How to fix her lightsaber one step. It's stupid. Anyway, but honestly, Alec has been wanting to have a lightsaber solely based around her staff for a while, and that sounded like very awesome. But then they brought back Anakin's lightsaber, and it's like, oh boy, whatever. Finish the Skywalker saga with the Skywalker saber, whatever, I guess. But I like the yellow lightsaber, and I really wish she could have had that as her main saber instead of using Anakin and Leia's lightsaber. It's like that would have added more to her character, if anything. But anyway, the entire final act, was Palpatine's plot a little bit confusing to you people?
Yes.
Like, kill me, and I will take over your body, and you shall take my throne as...
Wait, here's another plot hole.
Okay.
You know that Palpatine said that once Rey strikes Palpatine down, he can put his essence in her.
Yeah. And in the end, she kills Palpatine.
Yeah, so what happened to transferring his essence to her?
And honestly, I didn't think about this too much. And quite frankly, I'll be honest with you. When I saw the film, I maybe liked it. Mostly because I like the way how everything just kind of wrapped up.
Marcos, you're such a liar. You only liked it because Ahsoka's voice was in it.
Shut up.
No, I will not lie to you. That scene kind of got like a tear.
The thing is, if things really were consistent in this trilogy, I would have genuinely liked this. Probably more than Return of the Jedi's final conflict.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, mira pendejo. Ewoks defeating stormtroopers.
Oh!
Whoa.
I want to hear this.
Ewoks defeating stormtroopers. Okay, what sounds better? A bunch of teddy bears defeating highly classed soldiers, or all of the deceased Force ghosts of past Jedis coming together for this climactic conclusion. Toppled with that.
Saying no.
Huh?
Vader saying no.
Shut up.
He dumps Emperor Palpatine down the shaft.
Shut up. Honestly, the special edition of Return of the Jedi was so awful to me, it almost ruined it. That's why some part of me would have been very okay with this film.
Yo, you'll see it in French.
Oh, wait, I haven't seen that video.
French. See that scene in French. Dude, it's worse.
Well, if any people from France ever puts Revenge of the Sith high on their list, I'm going to question every bit of your soul.
It's in French, dude. In French, it's worse. Dude, look at it in French. I
Alright.
swear to God.
But,
It's bad in English, it's worse in French.
unfortunately, the thing is, because we didn't get the setups, I know I'm not going to prefer this over fucking Return of the Jedi's ending. It's impossible. It's just really fun to watch the first time, and then just pressing the second, third, etc. viewings. It's just a big why couldn't it have been better? Because that ending.
You know what I did? You know what would have been really good fan service?
If Hayden Christensen came up.
No, if Palpatine You know that Palpatine has his power back, right?
Yeah.
It would have been awesome if he had his lightsaber again, and he said,
God damn it.
and he said,
It's treason then.
"It's treason then. It's treason then from my family," and then he does the spinny thing. That would have been awesome.
God! Oh,
That would have made me cringe.
That would have been awesome, dude.
that would have been so funny!
That would have been awesome.
That would have been great. Oh yeah, I agree.
You're
I
like-
agree.
It's treason then, Ray. And then he just jumps and does the spinning thing.
The only thing that you just made me come to mind.
Dude. And then he does the big Kamehameha wave with the lightning.
And then while he's doing that, he's just screaming, "Ultimate power!"
Unlimited power.
Whatever, it's the same crap.
Dude, we're coming up with way better things than
Literally, yeah. That's the unfortunate thing, is that I feel like literally any of us could have made a better story than what we got instead. It's just like, because we don't go to Reddit for our writing like stuff. So
I mean,
That's like
some of us.
suck it.
so what did you guys think of the ending overall? Like the final battle, Rey Skywalker, like all that Gucci, all that good stuff.
I paid attention more to the yellow bladed things.
Okay, Gene, you're fucking worthless then, Eric.
No, okay. To be honest, okay. So it wasn't half bad, but it wasn't good either.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Cause it would have been a lot better if they had the actual actors like helping her, like Hayden Christensen and Sam Jackson. Like
Supposedly
on
that
their side.
was supposed to be in the film. Supposedly. But don't quote
Helping
me.
her, and then all of them fighting against Palpatine would have been great.
That would have been a lot better, like a bunch of Force ghosts.
Force Jedi's fighting against Force Ghost Siths. Like even having Darth Maul, Dooku, and everything.
Like that's what I would have preferred.
Like basically Battlefront 2.
Since they didn't do that, and it was just like a retread of fucking Endgame, because literally it's I am, and then she says
Oh.
I am the Jedi.
All the
And
Jedi.
then,
I'm all the Jedi, yeah.
It's basically I am Iron Man now.
Except one of them was actually earned. One of them was actually earned, and the other one wasn't. You can take a guess which one's which. That's the thing. I really can't help but feel like this film was trying to be like Endgame. Like it really feels that way. Like the
It felt a lot like Endgame
like the culmination of all the previous 8 films into this one climactic conclusion, implying like if the films from the 1970s like actually had some big setup promised in the near future. It's like what is really like Iron Man 1 came out in 2008. The first Star Wars movie came out in 1977. Like did you really think all that was leading up to the same conclusion? George had an idea for the sequel trilogy, but it wasn't even going to be focused with like Luke and the others from what he said. And so it's like I don't know, like
in the end he even said that he didn't want to do it.
yeah. So and the thing is, like, part of me is glad we did get to see a sequel trilogy, but at the end of the day, like, I really wish for, like, a better end product, you know? This isn't the worst Star Wars movie for me, honestly. Like, my final verdict is really a 5 out of 10. That's where I stand with this film, and that's where I'm gonna, like, probably stick with it for the rest of my life, and it's unfortunately ranked very low in my rankings, which, by the way, it's not really that different from the last time I said it. The only difference is I just put Rogue One over Solo. This film is worse than Rogue One, but better than Solo, in my opinion, really. Because, like, I just think Solo was just really pointless and forgettable and really painfully average, that I just don't really care about that film. So if you can remember how my ranking was before, and I'll link my ranking in the description if you really want to see it, it's that. What about you two? Where does it stand? What rating would you guys give it, and where does it stand in your rankings?
For me, I give this film a 7 out of 10.
Damn, you generous slut.
Wow.
That's way higher than I would have ever thought.
Because, and I say this lightly, because of Kylo Ren.
Okay, I will admit, Kylo Ren is literally the one character in this entire trilogy that I was super happy with from beginning to end.
In this film is great.
Yeah.
He's great.
He was great at. He's literally the best character in this entire trilogy. I will definitely be the first to say that. Like, that was. Kylo Ren is
That's
great.
one of the only reasons why I give it a 7 out of 10. Also, they didn't kill Chewbacca, thank God.
They didn't kill Lando.
They didn't kill Lando, thank God.
They're gonna kill Lando.
And Rey has a yellow bladed lightsaber. It looks fucking cool.
Okay, so you basically like it for the fan service and for what it not do. And then Kylo Ren.
What else? What else is there?
Yeah. Okay. Well, and where does it stand in your ranking? Like, you already shared your ranking a while back. How is it? Where does it update? Like, where do you put The Rise of Skywalker compared to the other Star Wars films in your list? Assuming your list is the same than the last time you shared it.
You're talking to Eric or me?
I'm talking to you.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Eric. What'd you say again?
Like, where do you rank this Star Wars film? Because you did share your ranking list initially, like back when we did our first Star Wars Slutcast. How is it updated with this film? Like, where do you have this film in your list? Assuming your list is the same from the last time you shared it, which I know it's not because I know you.
I would have to put this higher than The Last Jedi, but lower than like the other one.
Force Awakens?
Force Awakens?
No.
Solo?
I actually do like Force Awakens.
Yeah, so you put it below Force Awakens. What's your ranking? Because I know it's different because you told me you really like Solo now, and back then you said it was fine. So what's your current ranking?
I really, really like Solo.
Okay, what's your current ranking?
Okay, the worst, Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Then it's Last Jedi. Then Rise of Skywalker.
Wow, I did not expect it to be that low, but keep going.
Yeah. Then Attack of the Clones. Then Revenge of the Sith. Force Awakens. Yeah, Force Awakens is better than all the prequels now.
Okay. Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Then Solo. No.
Rogue One, then Solo.
No, first. Okay, Rogue One.
Then Solo.
Revenge of the Sith. Then Solo. No, then Force Awakens. Then Solo. And then the original trilogy.
Okay, with Empire Strikes Back as the best one, A New Hope, and then Return of the Jedi?
Basically, how everybody
Okay.
the original trilogy.
Okay, and now Eric, what's your final score, and share us your ranking, because I don't think you've ever shared your ranking in my
I don't think
channel.
I've ever thought about making my ranking.
Yeah.
But I give my final score maybe like a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Like,
I'm the most generous slut.
But you have Rise of Skywalker as bottom 3. That's like, for someone that's more generous, like, that's still something that was surprising to me.
I mean, because I give a 10 out of 10 to all the other ones.
Oh, okay. So 6 out of 10 for Eric. And do you have an idea of your ranking, or you don't think you can share it right now? If you don't.
like, if I had to have a ranking?
Oh, wait. Now, hold on. First things first. For a new person that's gonna watch Star Wars, okay, someone that has never seen Star Wars, let's explain to them how they should watch Star Wars first.
Original trilogy first, and then prequels. Don't watch the prequels first.
Yes. First, watch the original trilogy, then watch the prequels, then whatever you want.
Pretty much watch it in the order they came out. Like literally, that's always my recommendation. Just watch it when they came out, like the order of release, rather than chronological order, because then there's some plot twists that have already been shown in movies that came out later, and so figuring out that Anakin is Vader's father in the prequels is not as interesting as figuring it out in Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, good. Now, everybody that has not seen Star Wars, you know who you are. Do what we said.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, so Eric, ranking then?
So, I have to, like, for me, the worst has to be, by far. I'm between, like, two. Phantom Menace and Attack on the Clones.
Fuck you.
The fucking tail scene, man! The tail scene!
Attack of the Clones is awful. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's one of the best scenes.
Shut up.
The tail scene, bro!
I'll take Canto. I'll
It can be compared to Romeo and Juliet.
take Canto Bite over Anakin and Padme. Fuck you.
Fuck no. Fuck
Yeah.
no.
Fuck yes.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Fuck yes. Anyway, Eric.
Fuck Canto Bite.
Okay, Eric. So.
I'm an Anakin and Padme stan, damn it.
So Eric, Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones are just tied for the bottom then.
So, yeah, they're tied for the bottom.
Okay.
And
Come on, George Lucas does know about love.
Fuck. Shut up, Gene. You already had your spotlights.
George Lucas does not know anything about it.
Do your thing, come on. I was joking.
Do my thing. So, afterwards, it'll have to be Last Jedi.
Very good.
I'm the only one that thinks that Rise of Skywalker is worse than Last Jedi, but that's just me.
Then...
Rise of Skywalker.
Gene, I will literally boot you out of the Discord until he's done, if you keep talking.
So, Episode 1, Episode 2, Last Jedi.
Fuck you.
Yeah, Episode 1 is the worst.
Okay, but okay. Last Jedi. Anything else? Like, what's after Last Jedi?
I think I'd have to go. Rise of Skywalker
Okay,
is like fourth.
the bottom four then. Okay.
Like bottom four, Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi, and then afterwards I'd put Solo.
Solo.
No, you would know.
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
And then Solo.
I'm Solo.
Yeah, there was a good point in my life where I did prefer Solo over Rogue One, and I still stand by. I'm not a big fan of Rogue One. Like, ugh. I just saw that film recently, and I wanted to shoot myself.
I'd have to rewatch him again, but like from right now, it's like Solo, then Rogue One, then
I feel like I can guess the rest of your list from here.
like Phantom Menace, Episode 3, and then the prequels.
Wait.
What? You mean Revenge of the Sith, and then Force?
Episode 3, Force Awakens, and then the.
Oh, I thought you said Episode 3, The Phantom Menace.
I heard that too. I heard the Phantom Menace too, and it's like, wait, what?
Hey, my fault.
Phantom Menace in a top 5, like that's like unheard of.
No.
I would
Okay.
actually praise Eric because he would have a different opinion.
You were just shitting on him for having Attack of the Clones in the bottom 2, Gene. So honestly, take a rod up your ass.
But that's everybody's opinion.
Uh-huh. So is having Last Jedi in the bottom 2.
Yeah, so I would praise him.
So would you praise me for having Last Jedi in the top 5?
No.
I'm never inviting you to another Slutcast again.
Oh, no.
You heard it here, folks. This will be the last of Gene.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's my
You'll
channel.
never get rid of me.
It's my channel.
I shall be forever.
Alright, so...
As the Senate.
So finally, after an hour and 15 minutes, we just got out of The Rise of Skywalker. Now, let's get on to some good shits. The Mandalorian.
Right now, that's the only good thing about Star Wars.
So wow, now I definitely cannot wait for Fallen Order then. So
Well, it's true.
Mandalorian, it was good. It was good. He's good. I really don't have a lot to.
I mean, it was good.
It was just good. It was fucking great.
It was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking baby Yoda acting so cute. Mandalorian protecting him.
I just want to see more, really. I actually feel like I kind of want to see a second season and see more on the Mandalorian.
Alright.
But
So,
as of this season, it was a good start. Like, it was solid. I think there was only like 2 episodes that I really didn't give a shit about, which are pretty much the most filler ones. Gunslinger and then the 6th episode. Like, I really didn't give a shit about those episodes. And then the rest of it are good. The 4th episode, I'm going to call it right here. Gene, if you tell me if you feel the same way. But before the season 1 finale, the 4th episode was my favorite.
the 4th episode.
What's the fourth?
The one where they're in. Oh wow! For someone that was like the episodes, this show is amazing. I remember the 4th episode. The 4th episode is when they were in some sort of like forest, and that's when they met this girl. Then they had to take care of these people that were getting attacked by basically a bunch of leftover stormtroopers who had an AT-AT.
Cara Dune, no.
No.
The best episode for me is episode 5.
The Gunslinger?
The one where they have to enter a New Republic cruiser with a full team, and
That's-
Mandalorian shows off his skills. That to me is a great episode. It's filler.
Oh.
That's episode 6 then.
Oh, you mean where they enter the prison transport?
That's episode 6 then. Episode 5 is the Gunslinger. Episode 5 is
Yeah,
Gunslinger.
6
Okay,
is
yeah.
great. 6 is great.
It's okay.
No, Marcos. You
It was-
can see it.
It was. I saw it. I thought it was very boring. I didn't really give a shit about that. Anything. To be fair, my take on TV shows is that like the filler episodes, if they don't carry anything towards the plot, I'm really gonna not give a shit about it. Whether it's choreographed great or anything, it's just an okay episode. It's not like episode 5, which I really just could not give a rat's ass about episode 5. But I wouldn't. If I ever rewatch Huh?
Which one was episode 5?
Gunslinger. Basically proving my point, the fact of how forgettable that episode was.
The one with the bounty hunter, where he has to help the bounty hunter.
Oh yeah, I did not like that one.
I didn't like this prison. And I didn't like. Okay, well, yeah. So was this episode. The 6th episode, I just thought it was okay. I didn't think it really did anything to further the plot because it's basically filler. But
To me, the one that I liked the most was 6, The Prisoner. 4.
see, 4 I will say was great. 4 was
The
great.
3rd one was good. This is the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is the way. Yeah. But dude, episode 4 was really good.
That's what I just said. I just said 4 was my favorite.
Oh, but yeah, I agree with you on that one. Episode 4 was great.
Yeah, I just didn't think 5 and 6 were anything special, honestly. Like, they didn't really do anything.
But number 8 was the shit.
Number 7 and 8 were great. Episodes 7 and 8 were really good, and 8 in particular actually closed the mess.
Let's discuss the ending of the show.
Yeah.
How does Moff Gideon have the Darksaber?
Okay, we can't spoil.
Exactly.
Wait, Gene. Wait, Eric, you just finished Clone Wars. Like, you finished the 5th season.
Still in season 6.
Okay, you finished the 5th season, so this is good. We can spoil it. Okay, so you saw who actually ended up killing Pre Vizsla, right?
Yes, Maul.
Okay, Darth Maul keeps that saber for a long time. However, he doesn't keep the saber.
Does he still have it during Rebels?
Yes.
Okay.
However, here's a couple things. One, he doesn't use the saber in combats. He uses the dual lightsaber. He uses dual lightsabers. It was even showcased in the Season 7 Clone Wars trailer. Darth Maul's not going to use the black saber, but he still has it. As you can see, when he fought Palpatine, like, he still used his traditional red lightsaber, and it was only after he killed Savage Opress that he actually used the black saber. But he uses it dual wielding like the other lightsaber, so he doesn't use it as an actual means as his main weapon. He keeps it like as an artifact, basically something that he keeps in possession. However, you already know what happens to Darth Maul in Rebels, right?
Huh?
You already know what happens to Darth Maul in Rebels, right?
If I remember correctly, he has a final battle with Obi-Wan again, and he dies.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the one thing. He doesn't lose the saber when he dies. He already lost the saber prior. So he doesn't lose the saber because he dies. The saber is in possession of one of the main characters in Rebels, and that's the last we see of the saber. I honestly forgot who's this girl's name, actually. That's how much I give a shit about Rebels. Okay. Star Wars Rebels.
And the Duchess's sister.
Oh yeah.
Sabine. Okay, Sabine.
Bo something.
Yeah.
Bo Satine, was it?
Sabine. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. Sabine Wren. Whatever. How does Rebels have a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes? This is horseshit.
Okay, what? It has how much of it?
100%. Anyway, but as of the end of Rebels, she still has the black saber. So, and maybe I'm wrong, but I was under the impression that this black saber was the only one of its kind at this point in time, leading up from the Clone Wars up until the end of Return of the Jedi, which is where Rebels ends as well. Spoilers.
That is the only one of its kind.
It is.
So that's where the question is. Now, here's a couple things. I hear rumors, or at least I really only came across one video that talked about it, but there may be a possibility that we're going to have a sequel to Rebels. So it's going to like basically focus on Ezra post Return of the Jedi. Maybe we'll have Sabine again. Ahsoka and Rex are probably going to be in the show again. And there we'll find out.
Spoiled it for me!
Dude. No one fucking dies in Rebels. No one in Valley dies in Rebels. That shows.
Spoiled that Rex survives on.
Oh, dude, I already told you that you shouldn't worry about Rex. I thought that made it perfectly obvious.
I just saw Fives. Damn it, I felt kind of bad. Fives.
And then, so, what was I saying? So, I'm assuming that show will explain to us how Sabine loses the black saber, or if Sabine even survives the Rebels sequel. We don't know.
Or maybe, since Mando, I'm gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna call him Mando. His name is Din Djarin.
Yep.
But Din Djarin and Baby Yoda leave, so it could be the possibility that they might go to like Mandalore and see Sabine, and then Sabine is gonna explain to them what happened, and
So live action Sabine, interesting.
Maybe live action Rebels characters. Ezra,
Ahsoka probably.
Ahsoka. That'd be cool.
I would actually be cool with that, actually.
So let's get this out of the way. What do you guys think of Din Djarin, the Mandalorian?
I love that guy.
I love that.
I think he's one of the best protagonists in Star Wars and we've had in a long time.
Yes.
Because
yeah, like, you know, to be in on all honesty, we've had our fair share of protagonists. Like Luke was the main character of the OT. Anakin was much better in the Clone Wars than he was in the prequels. You have some characters like Starkiller, for instance, from The Force Unleashed, but the protagonist of Rebels, Ezra just sucks. And then Rey was okay. Like Rey is not anything special, in all honesty.
Oh, what about Kanan Jarrus?
I love Kanan, but he's not the main character in Rebels.
He kind of is a little bit.
Except not really. He's the mentor character, and I don't want to spoil it further for Eric's sake, but there's a specific arc for this character, and we already know the path that it's going to happen because he is the mentor character. So he is by default not the main protagonist. He is a deuteragonist.
So if he's gonna be the mentor character, then is it gonna be like a Qui-Gon Jinn situation where he like dies?
You already got it.
You know, I can't save you from everything, Eric.
Wow, your boy is smart.
And you know who kills him?
No, I'll figure it out.
Vader.
No, it's not. Actually, no, it's not Vader who kills him.
Oh man, I would have been like, holy shit.
It's not even a who kills him, it's a what kills him.
Vader does appear in Rebels.
Yeah, season 2, and then he disappears after that.
Oh my god, another place where Vader appears.
Yeah. Anyway,
Gene knows this.
Anyway.
Yeah, but not yet.
We'll get to that when we get to that. But anyway, yeah, I love how with this entire thing we just dozed off to Rebels for a second. But yeah, who knows? Back to what I was gonna say. The Mandalorian, he's a really good protagonist. And again, I feel like I'm more anxious to see what they're gonna do next with this show because with what we got. Maybe I'm a picky son of a bitch, but I feel like I want more. I wanted more from that. I didn't want to end with just 8 episodes. I wanted more.
Me neither.
The fact that this season was short is like, why?
Exactly. It was like, I needed more.
I want more. Like
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda was precious.
I know, right? I don't know about you guys, but I kind of got pissed off when the stormtrooper smacked him.
So
holy shit, me too.
Okay, here's the thing. I want to talk about that one. I want to talk about that episode.
It was actually a famous actor.
Wait, can I talk about this? Can I talk about this episode for a second? So when they did punch Baby Yoda, my heart stopped, and they did it like 3 times. My heart stopped each time. However, I loved those stormtroopers. I love the interactions they have with each other. They were so funny.
Stormtrooper's the one that smacks him is actually a very famous comedian called Jason Sudeikis, the actor. He's actually pretty funny.
Well,
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, man, it's Jason Sudeikis.
Holy shit!
Let me tell you.
That's how you know it's a good it's good.
That's how you know it was funny because I had a good time that scene, even despite the punches on Baby Yoda. Like they were funny together. Those two were.
Sudeikis is like ridiculously funny when he wants to.
Yeah, it was great. Even the little nod of the stormtroopers can't aim for shit was precious.
Good about The Mandalorian is that you even care about minor characters.
Exactly.
Like Queel.
Oh my god, yes, I have spoken.
I cared more about Queel's death, the fucking Jyn Erso, and Cassian Andor's death.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but that's because those characters suck. And I'm gonna say this, I also like Kara. I like Kara a lot, in this show. One of the better female characters.
Kara's great. Kara's a fucking badass.
Kara, this bitch. I forgot her name.
The female gunner, I guess you can say. Like
Shock Trooper.
Oh yeah, Miss Shock Trooper. Yeah. She was actually pretty sick.
Like she's actually one of the better female characters we've had in Star Wars and also in Forever.
Dope. She's dope.
She is actually pretty dope.
So, unfortunately, we won't know too much about Mandalorian until we get the second seasons. But you can bet your ass that once the second season rolls in, another slugcast will come in your way.
Hold on, we have one more character to talk about.
Oh, I know who it is.
Moff Gideon.
Oh yeah. We really know about the guy. Where the fuck you here?
What do you guys think of Moff Gideon? It's the bad guy, Moff.
Okay.
I knew you were trying to search it.
Call me red-handed. Oh, that was...
Bad guy Marcos the villain.
Okay, good. Thank you. He was cool. but we didn't know much about him, so it's like, pardon me for Googling him.
We didn't address the elephant in the room. The Darksaber, what do you guys think?
That's what we were talking about in the beginning.
But what do you guys think of it back?
I want to know.
Coming back.
I'm curious because, and this is like, that's what I was trying to go for. Like, it's either going to be explained, like you said, that we might see Sabine in Mandalorian Season 2, or it will be explained in the sequel to Rebels. I just need more questions. I just have questions, and hopefully I get my answers. And one that are satisfying than Snoke being a fucking clone.
Yep.
And then, one thing is that if they do this Rebels...
What do you guys think, Baby Yoda? Like, not what do you guys think of Baby Yoda, but what do you guys think about what was going to happen to Baby Yoda? What does the Empire want with Baby Yoda? What do they want?
My main theory is the fact that because he's kind of the same species as Yoda, and he's really strong with the Force at such a young age, I think they just want him out of the way in case he could actually be as powerful as Yoda.
Or maybe even more so.
Yeah. I feel like that was like the most self-explanatory. It's already really strong with the Force, even though its vitality is not that good. But
yeah,
it's still a Yoda species. And Yoda is one of the most powerful Jedis, especially with the Force. So it's like, I don't blame the Empire or anybody for wanting to get it out of the picture.
Alright then. But I feel like at the same time it takes a little bit of strength away from the Force, because you know how Yoda explains in Empire Strikes Back how it affects everything, it surrounds everything, it surrounds all of us.
Yeah.
But that's pretty easy for Yoda to explain, how his species are the most powerful with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very easy for Yoda to explain. Because, like, look at Baby Yoda now, and he's, what, like 50 years old?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Yoda was and then...
To me, it's kind of like, I love it, but at the same time, it takes a little bit away from the Force, if you catch my drift.
I get you. Honestly, like, I feel like it's becoming a mixed bag, the fact that everybody's, like, naturally strong with the Force, considering the fact that it took Luke and Anakin training to actually get used to, like, get the hang of it, and then you have people like Rey and Baby Yoda and everybody else, like, all of a sudden naturally good with the Force. I mean, for God's sakes, Last Jedi had the broom boy.
Yeah.
I get you, and I agree with you, frankly. But yeah. Final thoughts.
Sluts. That's all we can talk about. The Mandalorian, I would think.
Okay, final.
It's only 8 episodes, and each episode is 30 minutes. So we can't talk that much about Mandalorian, but all we can say is that it's really sick, and everybody that has this Disney Plus account, go ahead and watch it.
So, final score, everybody. I feel like we all have the same score.
I give this show a 9 out of 10.
Gene, that's another thing we have in common.
Yeah, I think we all have it.
I had a feeling everybody was going to go with 9 out of 10. Some part of me was going to say 8, but in reality, como gets like, what, because of 2 filler episodes? More reason to not give it a 10.
You and I thought the same thing. I was going to give it an 8 out of 10, but then I thought,
the same thing.
Those filler episodes, like, one is bad and one is good, so I'll give it a 9.
Yeah, exactly. So, wow, okay. Well, Sagittarius brother, this proves further that great minds think alike.
Exactly.
And now, we've covered 2 subjects, and now we save the other one for last. Welcome to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, I'm gonna tell you all one thing. I've never played the game. Nor do I know everything about the story. The only thing I know is, from what I understand, the gameplay is kind of like a Sekiro kind of gameplay, I guess you can say, and that it takes place between episodes 3 and 4, before Rogue One.
Yes.
So, this spotlight is going to be given to these two because Eric and both of them have finished the game, and Gene in particular has beaten it on the hardest difficulty.
Fucking bastard.
So
Yes, sir.
you guys, I leave you. You guys are going to be the temporary host for the Slugcast, starting now. Starting with the gameplay. What did you guys think of the gameplay? Like, if you guys can
The
describe.
gameplay
is fucking amazing.
is great. It goes very well with Star Wars. And just playing as a Jedi, really. You have your lightsaber on one hand, and basically how you can make that lightsaber into a double-bladed lightsaber, upgrade your lightsaber.
Yes.
So this game is
Customize your lightsaber with...
Customizability.
okay. You just said this. So the one thing when I saw like gameplay, the one Star Wars game I had to easily compare it to is The Force Unleashed for its like fast archaic gameplay and its customization. The customization in Force Unleashed is really just changing the kyber crystals. However, so compare this game's gameplay to The Force Unleashed. Which would you say handled it better?
I mean, that really depends with what you want, because if you want to be very strategic with your gameplay, if you really want to think about... Because it's very different. Force Unleashed is just a hack and slash. Whereas this one, you really have to be tactical. This one, you have to think if you really want to engage an enemy. Because in this game, there's also, because in this game, there's also the environment. So there's also animals. And the stormtroopers are trying to invade these planets, so they have to fight the animals. And the animals are tough to fight.
Yes.
So you're going to have to think your way through this. Do you actually want to enter and kill all of them at once? Or do you just want to wait till one of them dies and start to actually kill either the stormtroopers or kill the animals, whichever wins? So
Yep.
I had this point where I was just like, let me just fight them both. They bukkake my ass so hard. They raped me. The enemies raped me. Especially if you're fighting on the last difficulty. Even on normal, it's hard.
Even on fucking normal is fucking hard. Like,
but
you can say a lot more because playing Sekiro. But me coming out of like, I had no expectations. I was like, what? How?
But to me, this is amazing because there's also different enemy types. It's not just the same Stormtrooper where you would fight in Force Unleashed 2, basically, where it was just like Stormtrooper, then melee Stormtrooper, and then Jet Trooper. No. This one has a Stormtrooper. This one has a Purge Trooper. This one has Purge Troopers. This one has Purge Troopers that have the staffs with lightning on the ends. This also has rocket troopers, and you can take, and the game doesn't give you all the force powers on one go. You have to progress through the game and unlock the force powers, and once you while you progress through the game, you can take out the enemies completely differently. So, for example, when you start the game off, you can only take them out with your lightsaber, but endgame, if a rocket trooper throws a missile at you, you use force push and throw the rocket at him. You can throw your lightsaber at an enemy, but at the same time, because you have a double-bladed lightsaber, you throw one end of the lightsaber, and use the other end of the lightsaber to attack.
Yep.
To me, there's so many creative ways. There's so much creative ways that you can use on the field of battle in this game compared to how you can use it in Force Unleashed. And I feel like in a game that makes you think strategically is already A+ for me.
Okay.
And midway through the game, there's not just stormtroopers, but there's also bounty hunters. So if you go to other planets, there's gonna be bounty hunters that are gonna be after your ass, and it's a boss battle. One boss battle with like 2 bounty hunters. So it's really good.
It's very well constructed.
Okay.
Plus, it's also like EA's like only full-fledged just story game. No microtransactions. No, none of that crap.
EA isn't even in this game. This is just Respawn made a game, play the game, everything is in the game, no microtransactions, nothing.
So is this game better? Is this game better than the last two Battlefront games we've had then?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Wait,
Fuck.
that one?
Yeah.
Like, is this game better than Battlefront 2?
Hell yeah!
Yeah. Because, okay, if you, like, Battlefront 2 is good now. But if you want to play a good single-player story, Star Wars, think before you act game, then play Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
If a Battlefront, okay, so I'm gonna ask you this: if a Battlefront 3 comes out, and more specifically for the heroes versus villains thing, if they had changed the gameplay and played it a little bit more like how Fallen Order plays, like in terms of the lightsaber combats, not like the RPG elements or like the customization, but just the fine gameplay strategically, do you think heroes versus villains has like so much potential that it could actually, that more people could actually play it if it played similar to Fallen Order?
Oh man, if it plays like that, Jesus Christ. That game mode should be its own game.
Okay, that's the answer I was expecting.
Because
yeah.
the gameplay in Fallen Order is great. The physics of it, just the physics of it is just great. And the force powers too, it's just amazing. Force freeze, force push.
Oh my god, yes.
And add to the fact that if you could have played a Sith character, jeez.
Oh.
This game, if you could pick between dark side powers, this game would be like top 10.
Oh, definitely.
Like, picture playing Darth Maul or Kylo Ren or Vader with Fallen Order's gameplay.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Alright, so A+ on the gameplay. Now, let's talk, like, what about the story? Like, how is the story?
The story's fucking great. So you start off as this Jedi Cal Kestis who is in exile. He's in exile because of what happened in Order 66.
Does this story take place like almost immediately after Revenge of the Sith, or how long does it take place before, like, after Revenge of the Sith?
It happens like 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. Like 10 years.
Fuck.
Yeah, like that early.
Yeah,
It's up very, very before Rebels.
Yeah.
Super before Rebels.
Yeah, because Rebels was like...
Or I would say at the same timeline as Rebels.
It's just 5 years, you dingus.
Huh?
It's 5 years.
Then I don't know, man. But it...
5 times... 5 plus...
After Order 66...
5 plus 5, 10.
Okay, it's after Order 66.
Yeah.
Before Rebels. Or
The Inquisitors are in the game, and
I heard.
yes.
yeah. So and
Wait.
Inquisitor.
Wait, quick question. Are the Inquisitors... Like, do the Inquisitors spin their lightsabers around like in Rebels?
On a like copter saber? No.
Okay. Wow, this game's not worth it. 0 out of 10.
No, dude. I would wish that they would have done that, but no.
That would have been freaking cool, though.
But here it is. Okay, the Inquisitors are in the game, and they're the main villains. The main Inquisitors in this game are
Ninth
the
sister.
second sister and the ninth sister.
Yeah.
And you can basically tell where the timeline is in this game because of the comics. The
Okay.
sister has her left leg in the comics, where in this game she doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that this game takes place like a little bit before Rebels.
Okay, actually, so I just googled it. Fallen Order takes place 5 years. Rebels takes place 14 years after Order 66.
Okay, so before Rebels.
This is definitely before Rebels.
Yeah, okay, so... And basically shit goes haywire, and you have to use the Force to help a friend. And once you help that friend, the Inquisitors know who you are. They know you're a Jedi, and you have to escape that planet. But once you escape that planet, you encounter another Jedi, who is Seer. Seer, I forgot her name.
It's Seer.
Yeah, Seer. And another guy. Who's not a guy, it's an alien.
Pilot. He's a pilot.
Yeah. So you're basically going through all of these worlds to find an artifact, a MacGuffin. Known as... You're basically looking for a holocron.
Yeah.
Wow. So both Rise of Skywalker and this game had... Wow, Rise of Skywalker really is a fucking video game.
Yeah, but the thing with this holocron...
No, this one... You're looking for a holocron that reveals the location of Force-sensitive children.
Yes.
Ah.
So, basically, let's skip. You find the holocron. We're skipping a little bit.
Yeah.
So, you find a lot of things happen to you while you're trying to find the holocron. But this is just, we're talking about story. So, you find the holocron, and the second sister finds you, and then you basically get into a fight. And while you're fighting her, you learn about her backstory.
Yes.
So, you learn about her backstory, and then you get out of the planet. And while you get out of the planet, you get initiated to become a Jedi Knight. Seer goes back to being a Jedi because she exiled herself and she cut herself up from the Force. And then you have to go to the base of the Inquisitors to go find the holocron. You enter the base and you see Seer fighting, then you have to fight your way through a bunch of waves, and this is like the hardest part of the game. Other than Dathomir.
Oh, fucking Dathomir.
But in this game, once you head to the finish line, you fight the second sister, you retrieve the holocron, but your ass is ground beef. Because who comes?
Darth Vader?
Darth motherfucking Vader he jumps off of the fucking roof or something. He jumps off the roof. I don't know what the fuck he jumped off of, but he jumps off of something, and he kills the second sister.
Yep.
Wait, what? Wait.
He kills her. He says, "You have failed me, Inquisitor," and boom, she dies. She's dead.
Kicks her ass.
No mercy.
Wow.
Like, for you, it was a big ass fight. It was, oh my god, she can do pirouettes and shit. But no, Vader just slashes her. Boom.
Yeah,
okay.
She's dead.
Whips her ass.
Like, Vader just like teaches her own business. She's like, okay, I'm dead now. But what's most funny is what happens to Seer. I thought she was dead. Like, Seer
Yeah.
Okay, so, spoiler alert, Marcos. The second sister was Seer's apprentice.
Okay.
And Seer just goes in a fit of rage and runs towards Vader. And Vader just pushes her away. Just like, bye. And she just goes down in a hollow pit of like nothingness.
Okay, so here's the thing. We, as like 3 times in the movies, someone fell down in a pit and survived.
But this one, you think she's dead because like it's Vader. Come on.
It's a pit in Star Wars.
How are you gonna survive him? Eric, you saw. Come on, like that was funny.
No.
Vader, because she was running towards him, and Vader's just like, no. You're not gonna attack me, bitch!
No,
and she's like, ah!
Vader was too OP.
Like, Vader's the
Vader's the chosen one.
Savage. Vader is
he was so OP that
no, Marco.
the game tells run.
Yes, that's the objective. Vader is such a straight up savage that if you attack him, he's like, fuck you, kills you in one shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
One shot, one kill.
So you basically have to run from him.
Oh yeah, that's the objective.
All you have to do is run from it. But to be honest, while you're running away from him, the game soundtrack goes into a fit. It's like all of John Williams. Like John Williams was. It's like someone was holding a gun to John Williams, and they were like, "Make the best." No, it's actually like Revenge of the Sith music. Now that I think about it,
it is like Final Battle.
John Williams composed the music in this game?
I don't think so.
I was about to say, I heard that after Episode 9, he's not going to do any more Star Wars soundtrack.
No. It's because it's Revenge of the Sith music. You know the Order 66. The Order 66 theme.
The one, where all the Jedis are dying, or the Jedi Temple March?
Where they're all dying.
Oh.
No, Temple March.
Dun, da, da, dun, dun.
No, not that one either. The one where there's all the acapella screaming.
What?
Where everyone was dying.
Yeah.
So Anakin's dark deeds then?
Acapella. No. That's the Order 66 scene, Eric, where Vader did.
Wait. Oh wait, is the scene in Mustafar when he kills the Separatists?
Yeah, that one. Where Anakin. Remember the theme where Anakin's killing all of the Trade Federation?
Yeah, the Separatists.
That's the music. That's the music they use.
Okay, that's actually really good because I actually like that soundtrack.
Yeah, you listen to that theme while you're running away from Vader.
Wow, that's actually really cool.
Oh, it's cool.
And it's fucking amazing. You run away from Vader and there's like a bridge, and Vader uses the Force to just take the bridge apart. And it's basically like an Uncharted set piece, but you're running away from Vader.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's really cool. With that song, really cool. You basically just go to an elevator, and Vader's there. He's trying to cut through the elevator, but obviously the elevator closes, you go up, and then it's just you run through a hallway, open a door, Vader's there, and then you have to do a quick time event.
One thing I can really appreciate what they've been doing with Vader lately, and this has been in Rogue One, is that they do an excellent job. Like they seem like they're doing an excellent job making Darth Vader, or at least like the scenes of Darth Vader, seem like if it's from a horror flick in a Star Wars like film or game. Like whenever like Darth Vader's presence in like this game, or fucking Christ, in Rogue One and in Rebels even, like his presence is so menacing, and you can really feel the tension whenever he shows up. And from what you tell me, it seems very similar to how they did his Rogue One scene, where they basically made it seem like if it came from a horror film.
That's it. Yeah, it's basically that.
Because if you're running away from him, like the first game that comes to my mind whenever it comes to like running and hiding and shit like that is like Outlast.
Oh, and another thing, don't turn around while you're trying to fight Vader. I mean, don't turn around while you're trying to run from Vader. He'll kill you.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Okay.
But it's amazing. Vader kills it in the game. I have no more words to say. Vader's just awesome.
Okay, there's not any more to like say to say the feelings that I have for that sequel. It was so much that to express.
Okay, so gameplay and story are great then. Are there like any sort of like, glitches or
A plus on the story.
Okay. Now, going back to the gameplay department for a second, were there like any technical issues, game like bugs or anything that like interfered with the enjoyment of the game? Like, what's like the worst glitches you've ever like encountered?
For me, nothing that really interferes with the game, basically. Like,
Yeah,
nothing really.
to me it was more like sometimes it would drop a frame during cutscenes.
I did hear that.
Yeah, frame drops and cutscenes, like your game crashes, like
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah, that only happened once to me, like my game crashed, but nothing like game breaking for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing like Skyrim.
Or like nothing like Assassin's Creed Unity where you couldn't see the face palm.
Yeah, but no, this game is like completely like super polished, like no glitches on my end.
Okay, good.
Not really. Like I got
Like,
raindrops.
I got my occasion. I got my. Well, there's one problem, and it's the control scheme, where you're trying to. Okay, how do I explain this? Okay, let's say that you try to attack, and you press square, and Cal just doesn't want to fucking attack. Or you press the button, but he attacks after you press the button.
So there's a delay.
Yeah.
There's a delay.
Yeah.
Input delay. I
Okay.
would say, like, a little bit too much, but not that bad.
Okay.
It's not enough to like frustrate
Yeah,
you, like you
but
can't play the game.
It happens so much that you do notice and get annoyed.
So.
Yeah, it happens.
Okay, so but despite like any technical issues, crashes, or frame drops or bugs, it didn't ruin your enjoyment of the game whatsoever.
No, it doesn't ruin your enjoyment of the game.
Okay.
Only that you get annoyed when there's input delay, because when you're trying to change your lightsaber attack from normal lightsaber to a double-bladed lightsaber attack, then yeah.
It does sound like it's the type.
You don't get delay.
It sounds like it's the type of game where at first like the input delay might annoy you, but it's like something you'll get used to the more you play.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so just to wrap this up, Gene, you're probably gonna take the spotlight since you played it on the hardest difficulty. How did you feel was the difficulty? Was it like? Was it fine? Was there moments in which there was like a weird difficulty spike? Was it too easy in many areas? Was it too hard in many areas? Like, how was the overall difficulty of this game?
Okay, so difficulty in this game, I had no problem with it. Playing on the hardest difficulty, I would say that it wasn't that bad. It was hard because I had to really think of what I was gonna do, and every strategy counted, and I had to really pay attention to my stim packs, and I really had to pay attention to Beatty on what he was doing, and I just really had to.
There's NPCs?
For me, I really took my time with this game.
Wait, dude, are there NPCs in this game? Like companions? Are there companions in this game?
No, only Beatty.
Just mediate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were saying?
But for me, the difficulty was fine because I didn't really rush this game because, okay, there's certain single-player games where I just want to get to the ending. But in this game, there's so much for you to explore, and the map is really, really good for you to explore because it shows where you've not gone and where you have gone, and if you have something from that area, then it's already going to tell you. But if you don't, then go ahead and explore from that area, so you never get lost.
Okay.
And it's really good because also there's backtracking in this game.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
when you backtrack, it doesn't feel like backtracking. It feels like you're going there again, but not for a chore.
Like it's more like to continue the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because sometimes backtracking can feel like a chore and very misplaced.
Okay, so
Backtracking doesn't feel bad.
And it's a lot better because since you get new
And
force
the
power,
planets are very, very well built. Like they're very, very well built levels.
okay, so this game has a really good level design. There isn't like any stupid placement. There's not like any stupid placements like the Halo 2 snipers that just one shot you on the hardest difficulty. There's nothing like any stupid level design. The level design is specifically good.
No, because everything that you get from the chests, okay, there are chests that you open in this game, but everything that you get is just cosmetic, just for you to customize, like how you want your character to look and how you want your lightsaber to look, but nothing affects how much damage you do or
Okay, so there's no stat boosting cosmetics.
No, there's no stats at all.
Okay, good.
There's no stats at all. It's just you play the game and your lightsaber does this amount of damage to one enemy, and it also does this amount of damage to another enemy.
So
you can one-shot normal stormtroopers.
Okay, so in the case for what you just said, like, so is there more? Do you find yourself using the same lightsaber or the newer lightsabers that you can go, or do you find yourself interchanging between lightsabers?
No, again, the lightsaber is the same.
Okay.
You can just customize the way it looks.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's literally just cosmetics.
The color, the alloy, the metal, everything. All of it is cosmetic.
The design.
Okay.
Design, everything. You change it, but the damage you do and the damage enemies do to you does not change.
Nope.
Okay.
The only thing that difficulty changes is how enemies respond to you and how enemies are aggressive to you.
That was my next question. How are the AIs in this game? Like, are they really smart or are they really stupid?
They're smart.
They're smart.
I'm going to say they're smart because they know if there's a rocket trooper, they're going to say, okay, throw that rocket to him and then I'm going to attack him.
Yeah.
They know their shit. They know what to do. So if there's a purge trooper, the purge trooper's going to stay on one side, and then there's going to be two melee troopers going against you, and the purge trooper's going to try to attack you. The worst part is if there's a flamethrower trooper.
Oh, I hate it.
If there's a trooper with a flamethrower, run, bitch, and use force freeze, because that guy's going to be on your ass.
Okay.
So annoying.
So difficulty and level designs are great then.
Yeah.
Okay.
The enemy knows what to do, and if they're in a pack, they're gonna try to attack you strategically. Like if there's a guy that uses ranged weapons, and there's a guy that uses melee. It's not like other games where if you're paying attention to one, the others are not gonna attack you. If you're not paying attention to anything, they're all going to attack you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that combat A+ for me too.
Okay.
But we also got to talk about one more thing, and it's the bosses.
Okay. No, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Actually, I didn't put that in the list.
The bosses, hard as fuck. Hard as.
Oh my god, yes.
Fuck.
Which one for you was the hardest?
The second sister finale.
Fuck yes, okay. We're in agreement.
But also the ninth sister. The ninth sister. Dude, you didn't play it in the hardest difficulty.
I was about to say
Fuck
that.
you.
But okay.
To be fair, like playing it on the hardest difficulty can sometimes really determine the quality of the game because there are some level designs and damage outputs that some of the enemies deal with you, and you won't really notice it if you play it on normal. When you play it on the harder difficulties, you start really seeing like the flaws of a game based on the damage scale and based on the like. This is one of the reasons why I really like Halo Reach. From a single player standpoint, because playing the game on Legendary, there's no stupid level design choices. Like it's basically the enemies are a lot smarter than the AIs in normal and heroic, and you know, of course, the damage scale is just really drastic, so you have to literally play carefully. And you won't know something like how terrible Halo 2's level design is until you actually play it on the harder difficulty. So sometimes when you do go out of your way to play it on hard difficulties, you actually do start seeing flaws that I guess you wouldn't have noticed on a normal playthrough.
Yeah, and I would also say that this game has flaws when it comes to Dathomir. Fuck Dathomir.
How's Dathomir's level design then?
It's good, but the thing is, it's huge. It's the biggest planet in the game, and it has the most secrets than any other planet in the game.
And they're pretty hard to find.
They're hard to find, but just because they're hard doesn't mean it's not fun. But god damn it, do those Night Sisters fuck around. Those Night Sisters do not fuck around. They don't fuck around at all.
They're so annoying.
Okay. So...
Because, okay, I'm gonna tell you this. The Night Sisters are like zombies. And they all swarm you. They're swarmers, basically. And then there's the Night Brothers, who are just carrying around maces. And then there's Night Brothers that have, like, arrows. And the fucking spiders, they're spiders that spit, oh my god. The worst enemy is that fucking spider that spits venom at you.
And that blows up after they die. Oh my god.
That's the worst enemy. I don't care about the big ass dinosaur looking motherfuckers. I care about the little spiders.
Yep.
That was the worst thing.
How big are they? Are they really tiny?
Skyrim tiny.
And are they difficult to hit? And so so it's like really difficult to hit them, I'm assuming. But they have like fragile health then.
They're like the Skyrim spiders, but worse.
Okay.
Yep.
All right then. Well, I think we are gonna wrap it up. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts on what?
Fallen Order. Yeah.
Everything?
Yeah, Fallen Order. Like final thoughts. What do you rate this game? And dumb question, do you recommend this game to anybody? I know the answer is yes, but what's your final rating to this game?
Eric, since you didn't say jack shit while I was talking, go ahead. You give this one a try.
Well, I gotta give this game easily, like, it's a 10 out of 10 or like 9.5 because the details are so, like, the problems are so minimal.
Okay.
And it's been such a long time since, like, we've had a true single player Star Wars game.
That's true.
You know, that was actually good. So it's definitely like a 10 out of 10 for me. Game of the Year candidate. Like, I recommend this game to anyone. Anyone who likes Star Wars, anyone who doesn't like Star Wars, anyone who likes to have a nice, fun time playing a single-player game, play this game. You won't be disappointed.
Okay, good. Gene, your final score.
For me, this game is a 10 out of 10. Not a 9.5, not a 9.7, not a 9.8. I don't give a shit about decimal points. Decimal scores are the bane of my existence.
Oh, I can relate.
I will give this game a 10 out of 10. The gameplay is solid. The story is fantastic. The technical issues are very minor.
So this is... Would you say that this is like amongst the best Star Wars products since the original trilogy?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it the best since the OT?
No.
Okay.
I would say that it's the best Star Wars game in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'll say that if you loved Force Unleashed, you'll like this one way better.
Okay, yeah, and it's funny because I'd actually give Force Unleashed like a 7 out of 10, really.
If you liked Force Unleashed, this one's way better than Force Unleashed.
Okay.
Like, way better.
All right then.
Because in Force Unleashed, you're like super overpowered. In this one, you're not.
And this one's like, you know, it's a strategic, like.
But you're human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then.
But I would also say that this game is, for me, Game of the Year. Not candidate, this is king. This is Game of the Year. Game of the Year 2019.
All right then. Well then, this was a very interesting podcast to say the least. I had a very good time talking about Star Wars. I was very intrigued with Fallen Order as a game that I'm very curious about, considering I don't actually have the game. But I'll definitely consider. And this has just been a really good time. I hope you two have had fun as well.
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely. I always have fun talking about Star Wars with my two sluts.
Hell yeah. The sluts in the city, baby. Well then, guys, we're going to end the video right here. Thank you all for watching, and get ready for more videos to come. Welcome to the new year. Well, I'm sure I'll be a little bit more consistent, but you know, who knows what the future may hold. All I know is this is an excellent start for the year, and I can't wait to do more videos and any more slutcasts to come.
Alright guys, more slutcasts are gonna come very soon. We have a lot of stuff planned.
I actually do have one. I actually do have one planned sometime this month, hopefully, but that'll be when it comes out. But yeah, until then, thank you all for watching.
Alright guys, goodbye, good night, and farewell.
It's been such a long time since I've heard that, Gene. It's very poetic. Anyway, later, sluts.